About a month ago, EA finally dropped Battlefield 6, hyping it up as the grand comeback of the franchise after the disappointment of previous titles. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Battlefield 2042. But here's the thing, even the recommended specs for just 1080p at 30 FPS demand a GPU with at least 6 GB of VRAM. That's pretty steep, especially if you're like me and don't have a big budget to throw around on expensive graphics cards. So today, I'm putting that to the test. I've got 4 different GPUs, each with 4 GB of VRAM, and most of them actually cost less than the game itself. We're gonna find out, can a cheap GPU really handle Battlefield 6? And more importantly, which one of these cards gives you the best bang for your buck? First up, we have the GT 1030 4GB, a card that looks decent on paper but comes with a bit of a story. The original GT 1030 was released with 2 GB of VRAM, either the faster GDDR5 or the slower DDR4 variant. But this 4 GB version you see here, it's not an official NVIDIA release. These are aftermarket reworks, mostly from smaller manufacturers. Essentially the same GT 1030 with extra memory chips added, often running at lower speeds. But the real question is whether those extra specs actually mean anything once you start gaming. So let's put this GT 1030 40GB to the test and see if it's just marketing fluff or a hidden budget gem. With this GT 1030 to 40GB, I'm not expecting high settings or fancy visuals. I'm keeping things simple. Low settings, HD resolution, and the render scale at 100%. And, well, the GPU's already maxed out, pushing as hard as it can just to deliver around 12 to 15 FPS. Since this is a modern game, older GPUs with just 4 GB of VRAM really struggle. Once the VRAM fills up, the GPU starts borrowing system RAM, which by the way is 10 to 20 times slower. That's where the stutters and frame drops kick in. Especially when loading textures or heavy shader effects, I could literally feel the input lag getting worse. Movements became sluggish, aiming felt delayed. It's just not playable. Even after lowering everything to the absolute minimum, FPS only climbed to around 15 to 20, and the visuals turned into a blurry mess. So yeah, if you're thinking about playing this game on a GT 1030, don't. It's fine for video playback or older titles, but in modern games like this, it's completely out of its depth. If the GT 1034GB was that office uncle with a fresh coat of makeup, then our second contender, the RX 554GB, is like the younger sibling who grew up in the golden age of online games and esports. It was never a performance legend, but it's got a surprisingly interesting story that most people overlook. In some markets, the RX 550 was actually the first dedicated GPU for a lot of beginners. For those who couldn't quite afford an RX 570 or 580, but still wanted the thrill of owning a real graphics card to mess around with. So, can this little card still hold its ground in a modern AAA title like Battlefield 6? Let's jump straight into the game and find out. I ran into a pretty common problem when trying to run these newer games on older GPUs: driver errors. But luckily, there's a quick fix that works most of the time. Here's what you do. Open Registry Editor. Just type it into the Windows search bar. Then follow this path: HK Local Machine, System, Current Control Set, Control, Video. Inside that folder, look for the subfolder that ends with 0000. Once you click on it, check the right-hand panel and find the line that says Release Version. Double-click it and change the version number to 25.10, then hit OK, and you're done. After that, restart your PC, and boom, you should be able to launch the game normally again. At 720p resolution with low settings and everything else left at default, the RX 550 manages to stay around 20 FPS. Not amazing, but definitely a noticeable step up from the previous card. When the game starts rendering more complex scenes, the frame rate dips slightly to about 15 FPS, but overall it's surprisingly stable for what it is. The visuals aren't great, but that consistency deserves a bit of credit. So the next question is, can FSR make it smoother? After turning on FSR, performance jumped to around 30 to 35 FPS, and yeah, gameplay felt a lot smoother. Movements were more fluid, and it was actually playable this time. But of course, there's always a trade-off. FSR isn't anti-aliasing, it's an upscaling tech. So you'll start seeing those jagged object edges and a loss of fine details, especially around textures and small geometry. Switching up to Full HD, the graphics look a lot sharper and more detailed, but the price for that clarity is steep. FPS drops right back down to around 15, and gameplay becomes noticeably choppy again. So if you really want to enjoy modern games smoothly, the RX 550, 4GB probably isn't the right choice anymore. It tries hard, but it's just not built for this kind of load in 2025. Next up, we've got the GTX 1050 Ti 4GB. Now this is what I'd call a real gaming card. Not just something you plug in to get a display. With 4GB of GDDR5V RAM and way more memory bandwidth than the last two cards, the 1050 Ti can actually handle higher settings, maintain more stable FPS, and avoid those nasty stutters or frame drops during explosions. And in short, out of the 3 GPUs so far, the 1050 Ti is the first one that actually checks all the boxes, and stability. Now let's see if it can give us that real Battlefield 6 experience. Not just a slideshow. At 720p low settings, everything else left at default, this card instantly shows it's on another level compared to the previous two. Frame rates hover around 35 to 50 FPS, and the visuals already look a bit cleaner and sharper. It's still not buttery smooth, but for a casual player like me, it's definitely playable. Switching to 1080p while keeping settings low, performance dips a bit, averaging just above 30 FPS, still acceptable for light gaming. Turning on FSR adds around 20 extra frames, giving you roughly 50 FPS, which feels noticeably smoother. But there's a catch. FSR tends to blur out small details, and the image can look a little hazy, but even dizzying, during fast movements. If you lower the resolution scale to 60%, FPS climbs again to around 65 to 70, though distant objects start looking fuzzy. So after a few tweaks, I'd say the sweet spot for this GPU is low settings, 1080p, no FSR, and a 60% render scale. That's where you get the best balance of sharpness and smooth performance. And finally, the last 4GB VRAM card on today's list, the GTX 1650 4GB. This one's the youngest in the lineup, coming out years after the 1050 Ti and built on NVIDIA Turing architecture, which instantly puts it on another level in both performance and stability. At the time I tested Battlefield 6, the GTX 1654GB felt like the sweet spot of the group. Powerful enough to run the game smoothly, energy efficient, and still getting solid driver support from NVIDIA. This is the card that really sets the benchmark for how far a 4GB GPU can still go in 2026. At 1080p settings, the results were actually better than I expected. About 5 to 10 FPS higher than the previous GPU, averaging around 40 FPS most of the time. Not bad at all for a 6-year-old card, and honestly, it deserves some credit for still hanging in there. When I turned on FSR, the improvement wasn't massive compared to the GTX 1050 Ti, but I decided to take it a step further, enabling XESS upscaling in ultra performance mode. That's when things really picked up, pushing frame rates to around 70 to 80 FPS and making gameplay feel much smoother overall. However, as with most upscaling tricks, there's a trade-off. Distant textures and fine details start to look noticeably softer. Not ideal if you're the kind of player who likes to snipe from across the map. So yeah, performance gets a solid boost, but clarity definitely takes a hit. So to wrap things up, the first two GPUs we tested are pretty much out of the game when it comes to Battlefield 6 in 2026. They can still launch it, sure, but that's about it. You'll be lucky to scrape playable performance. The other two cards, though, still hold their ground surprisingly well. You can expect around 30 to 40 FPS at low to medium settings without using any extra upscaling features. If you turn on things like FSR or XESS, you'll definitely get smoother gameplay, das swear, but at the cost of a bit of image clarity. Among all four, the GTX 1650 to 4GB clearly comes out on top. It's still the most balanced option, as efficient, affordable, and capable enough for modern gaming if you tweak the settings right. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like and drop a comment below. See you guys in the next one.